now through March 5th. And when your daffodils arrive, you can share a little bit of spring with your friends. Your old friends, your new friends, your old friends. You can even keep a few yourself.
Be a part of it all right here on Jeopardy, afternoons at 5 on CBS.
To be damaged as a result of that.
A man many thought could lead the Democrats will not.
I will not be a candidate.
While conservative Republicans worry about their future. Racial tension flares in Tampa.
And Warner Wolf's Plays of the Week. This is the CBS Morning News. Good morning. I'm Forrest Sawyer.
And I'm Faith Daniels. It's Friday, February 20th.
Leading the news this morning, the Democratic lineup for 1988 is changed. Mario Cuomo has benched himself. The New York governor stunned his followers last night by announcing he will not be a candidate for president, revealing the surprise on a radio call-in show.
Party. And I make this statement now so that no one will be disadvantaged by the false expectation of a candidacy on my part. There were some people who were developing expectations. I don't want them to be damaged as a result of that, and so I choose this moment to make my position clear. I will not be a candidate.
Insiders say Cuomo's foray into California last week was a bad experience, leaving him with the feeling that this kind of campaigning was no way to live. Cuomo vaulted into the top rank of contenders in 1984 with a rousing keynote address at the Democratic Convention in San Francisco.
Other Democratic contenders in '88 are expressing surprise at Cuomo's withdrawal. Former Colorado Senator Gary Hart says Cuomo will continue to contribute. Through a spokesman, Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis says Cuomo's decision will not influence his own about whether to run. And Georgia Senator Sam Nunn says Cuomo will have a strong voice on who the emerging nominee will be.
Joining us in Chicago is CBS News chief political correspondent Bruce Morton. Good morning, Bruce.
Morning, Forrest.
One of the great skills of political reporting is being able to read the tea leaves. How do they look to you this morning? Why did he finally decide to take himself out now?
Well, I haven't talked to Governor Cuomo in, 2 or 3 months, I suppose. But if I were simply to guess, it would be he is in some respects a private man. The intensity of the spotlight on presidential candidates is something without parallel in American life. Running for the Senate, running for governor, it's not in the same league. You're under intense, white-hot, 24-hour-a-day scrutiny, and I think he may have decided that he doesn't like that.
Could you see any scenario in which the party would eventually turn to him?
I don't think so. Once upon a time, when party leaders picked nominees, you could have what used to be called a draft. Nowadays, voters in primaries and caucuses pick nominees, and I think the day of the draft is over.
That leaves then a whole pack of people who would like to be president. At first blush, you would think Gary Hart, the front runner, would be the recipient of Mr. Cuomo's goodwill. Is he?
I don't know that he is. Senator Hart was and is this morning the front runner, no question about that, but he's an interesting front runner. When we did exit polling on Election Day last November, somebody else was the big winner amongst Democrats. Gary Hart got more votes on our exit poll than any other person, but somebody else was ahead of him. When the Los Angeles Times 3 weeks ago, I think it was, polled California Democrats at their state convention, they said they thought the strongest candidate would be Hart, their personal favorite would be Mario Cuomo. So I think in a way this is good news for all the other people who are thinking about running. Richard Gephardt, Bruce Babbitt, Joseph Biden, Michael Dukakis, whomever. It's a very long list. Because what it says is that Hart's support is shallow. There's no passionate commitment to him. And with Cuomo gone, maybe that enhances the opportunity for some other long shot to come bursting out the way Gary Hart did 4 years ago.
Very quickly, Bruce, what about a vice presidential nomination for the governor?
I've always thought the governor liked to be in charge of things. The vice president isn't even in charge of his own schedule.
Chief political correspondent Bruce Morton. Thank you very much, Bruce. Hey.
Robert McFarlane is standing by his story this morning that President Reagan gave advance approval to an Israeli arms sale to Iran. The Los Angeles Times and the New York Times both report this morning that McFarlane told the Tower Commission he helped provide a cover story for the president. McFarlane is said to have written a fake document that allowed the president to deny he authorized the sale. There are new details this morning on a previously disclosed White House plan for an invasion of Libya. The Washington Post says the State Department took extraordinary pains in 1985 to block a planned joint attack on Libya by American and Egyptian forces. Secretary of State Schultz is said to have described the idea as crazy. A CIA study praising the plan was written by Robert Gates, now the nominee to head the agency. One day into the job, and the new White House communications director is on the offensive over his past. John Kohler, who is a native of Germany, admits he was once a member of a Nazi youth group, but he points out he was just 10 years old. Kohler is angered by the reports and says if that's newsworthy, then it's also newsworthy that he was married to a Jewish woman.
In Tampa this morning, an appeal for calm after racial tensions exploded in violence in a black neighborhood. A car was set on fire. Stores were looted, allegedly by blacks outraged because a black man died in police custody after an officer put him in a chokehold. Police rushed to the disturbance, but there were no arrests and no serious injuries. The Hollywood director accused of manslaughter gets the day off today, but John Landis will be back on the witness stand Monday for more questioning in the Twilight Zone trial. As for his testimony so far, Terry Drinkwater reports, the prosecution says it sounds like the script from one of his movies.
At a crucial point in his testimony, director John Landis' voice quavered. He is charged in the death of his star, Vic Morrow, and the 6- and 7-year-old child actors.
I watched Vic carrying Mika and Renee, and I watched them struggling across the river. And I saw Vic fall where we discussed he would fall. And then the helicopter crashed in front of me. The helicopter really just startled me. I was like, what? And then, yes, I became aware. I was, oh, my God, where's Vic and Mika and Renee? And I ran to them, yes.
The scene had been carefully planned for safety, he testified. As the prosecutor, Leah D'Agostino, began her cross-examination, there was a clear suggestion to the jury that Landis may have been overplaying his role on the witness stand.
Mr. Landis, would you like some Kleenex, sir?
I think you'll have some.
Does it come easily to you, Mr. Landis?
Crying?
Yes.
No. And out of court, she was even more direct.
He didn't come right out and burst into tears. It was just that right touch of that quiver in the voice and the eyes down and the dabbing of the eyes. I frankly wish I had an Oscar that I could give him for his performance.
Later on the stand, Landis contradicted testimony of others who had said they warned him of the dangers of the scene. Landis accused prosecution experts of being second-guessers.
I think it's very easy after an accident to make pronouncements about how things should or should not be done.
Dan Aykroyd yesterday joined the list of Landis' Hollywood friends who have come to sit in court in full view of the jury. Landis will face still more cross-examination on Monday. Terry Drinkwater, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And business news, a long-awaited move by the Japanese has helped the dollar overseas. Ken Prewitt has that story. Good morning, sir.
Forrest, good morning. The dollar's trading higher overseas this morning. The Japanese cut their discount rate. The White House has been pushing Japan and West Germany to lower their interest rates as a way to boost their economies and also raise demand for American goods. The U.S. and 4 other leading industrial nations meet in Paris this weekend, and they will discuss ways of stopping the long decline in the value of the dollar. In testimony before the Senate Banking Committee, Federal Reserve Board Chairman Paul Volcker reiterated his belief that a sharply lower dollar would lead foreign investors to pull their capital out of the U.S.
The simple facts are that we are spending more than we produce and that we are unable to finance at home both our investment needs and the federal deficit.
The stock market goes into the final session of the week with the Dow Jones Industrial Average at its third straight record high. The market gained another 6.5 points. The Dow is at 2244. In London, gold is down $2.50 an ounce this morning at $397.50. Silver is down 3 cents at $5.43. Gross national product went up just 1.3% in the final quarter of last year. That was down from the Commerce Department's earlier estimate. Most economists expect stronger growth in the economy here in the current quarter.
All right, thanks, Ken. Checking today's weather now. A wet morning ahead for the south. Heavy rain is expected across much of eastern Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Winter storm warnings are up across the Texas Panhandle into Oklahoma, with 3 to 6 inches of snow likely. The Northeast is in for a sunny day. It's 9 minutes after the hour.
Let's have a look at sports this morning and a good look at Larry.
This is the TV8 Morning News, brought to you by Direct Delivery and Distribution. Here's Todd Nagel.
Good morning. In Des Moines now, cloudy skies and 29 degrees. An Ankeny man is in fair condition this morning after he was involved in what witnesses call a spectacular accident. Police say a car driven by 21-year-old Douglas Bauer was southbound on U.S. Highway 69 at a high rate of speed when it hit a median near Orlabor Road. The car then veered to the right of the pavement, struck a sign, and rolled over about 6 times. Bauer was pinned beneath the car until rescue workers could pull him free. He was taken to Methodist Medical Center by air ambulance. A Guthrie County High School wrestling team and a champion wrestler from Sheldon have been barred in separate incidents from competing in state tournament. The Sheldon School Board has banned 18-year-old senior Tom Brands from tournament competition because he allegedly had sex with a female student at a January 25th party at Brands' home. Meanwhile, the Guthrie Center School Board has voted to pull its wrestling team from any tournament because some members may have used chewing tobacco. The Iowa legislature has taken up the subject of AIDS. In the House, Ames Representative Ralph Rosenberg has introduced a measure that would require state health officials to provide screening tests for those groups most at risk of contracting the deadly disease. In the Senate, Ralph Rosenberg has introduced a bill requiring applying for marriage license to be tested for AIDS. Weather forecast is coming up next.
If you're a shipper or business owner, you know how important a long-distance delivery service can be. You need a carrier that's fast, economical, and dependable. That's what direct delivery and distribution is all about. It's the only delivery service in Des Moines that guarantees overnight delivery by truck to and from these Nebraska cities. There's no weight limit, and our prices are competitive or better than other carrier services. For guaranteed overnight delivery, call Direct Delivery and Distribution. Service is our guarantee.
Now it looks like we'll have another day of above-average temperatures. Forecast calls for cloudiness this morning, though the sun will probably come out later this afternoon and warm things up to the mid-40s. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 20 to 25. And Saturday, partly cloudy with a high in the lower 40s. In Des Moines now, it's cloudy. Winds from the east at 3 miles per hour. Humidity 72%, barometer 30.30 and falling. Currently in Des Moines, it is 29 degrees. More news and weather in about 10 minutes.
What happens when the woman who has everything decides it's too much? We'll find out from the founder of Superwoman Anonymous on the morning program.
Plus, Jack Anderson will be here with the latest from Washington, and Carl Malden with his latest movie.
You'll also meet Tom DeLuca, a hypnotist who will make you laugh.
All of it on the morning program.
Can you take one?
Health news this morning. Federal officials are predicting tuberculosis will disappear among non-Hispanic white Americans far sooner than it will among minority groups. The Centers for Disease Control say that new statistics show non-whites are more than 5 times as likely to get TB as whites. An international scientific team is claiming a major breakthrough in the fight against Alzheimer's disease. Researchers say they have found strong evidence that a defective gene causes at least one type of the mind-crippling disease. A cure could still be years away, but scientists say the new finding lays a foundation for treatment and eventually a cure for the disease.
After 5 days of heavy fighting, the streets of Beirut are relatively calm this morning. The reason? A show of force by Syrian commando troops given shoot-to-kill orders to control street battles between rival Muslim militiamen. Police say more than 200 people have been killed and 400 more wounded since Sunday. Kremlin officials say Soviet dissident Yosef Begun is to be freed from prison today, ending a week of confusion over his whereabouts. Last Sunday, a senior Kremlin official announced that Begun was already out of jail. Begun is Jewish. He was convicted of anti-Soviet agitation in 1983.
Back in the States, Faith in Washington, D.C., new details this morning on the reported feud between Nancy Reagan and White House Chief of Staff Donald Regan. We've already reported to you that the First Lady wants Regan out and is not speaking to him. One reason for that, possibly, it is now said that the Chief of Staff argued with Mrs. Reagan over the phone recently, and twice he hung up on her. This latest argument between the two was said to be over Mrs. Reagan's efforts to curtail the president's schedule. Today, Mr. Reagan will make a rare foray outside the White House to address a group of conservatives. Terrence Smith reports the Iran controversy and Mr. Reagan's coming retirement have left the conservative movement in disarray.
Along with Ronald Reagan, a whole generation of conservatives moved from the political sidelines to the corridors of power 6 years ago. Now, with the Reagan years winding down and the administration embroiled in the Iran-Contra crisis, serious questions are being raised about the future of the conservative movement.
I think conservatism has had its heyday.
Committed conservatives, the true believers, love the president, but have never really been satisfied with the Reagan revolution.
There's been disappointment on some on programmatic scores. A lot of conservatives don't like some of the things that the administration has chosen to push in the last years.
But the future looks worse. Some 1,200 right-thinking activists have gathered in Washington to contemplate a world without Ronald Reagan. He and Barry Goldwater have been their standard bearers for more than a generation. Who was their candidate for 1988? Jack Kemp rallies the younger conservatives, and the Reverend Pat Robertson, the religious right. But moderates Bob Dole and George Bush are after the same votes.
There are conservatives in the camp of every Republican out there running for the nomination. I don't know exactly where they're going to wind up. It's sort of like a herd that's milling around waiting for that pistol shot to stampede.
But Buchanan, who flirted briefly with the idea of carrying the conservative standard himself, doubts that stampede will come soon enough.
There'll have to be a sorting out process in the primaries before they unite behind a single candidate, and by the time they do, this thing could be decided.
And columnist Kevin Phillips believes the movement itself is in danger of fragmenting.
Well, if it looks like we're really not going to go over the top, then let's pursue our own specialized interests. And you'll see the religious people push their agendas, the national security people likewise.
Splintered as they may be, the conservatives are still a powerful factor in the Republican Party. They tend to dominate the candidate selection process and the conventions. Republican contenders who ignore the conservatives do so at their own peril. Terrence Smith, CBS News, Washington.
Did you go to camp with Amanda the Panda?
Yes.
Tell me about it. What was fun about it?
The dance and swimming.
Thanks to you and 13 local radio stations for making this year's Amanda the Panda Radiothon a big success.
You know, those kids, they deserve something like this. They're wonderful young people.
Through your donations and the sale of TV8's Walmanac, over $75,000 was raised to help children with serious illnesses.
Thank you.
Home Care Plus is a leader in the home health care field, helping people to remain in their own homes where they prefer to be. Home Care Plus, quality service for 25 years.
I really just don't understand. I mean, how could anybody have a party and not want George Jefferson there?
I don't know. Maybe they couldn't find a cupcake for you to jump out of.
How come Wendell invited you?
Sir, anybody who is anybody was there.
But you ain't nobody.
Not according to the guest list, sir.
What about me? I'm somebody.
Not according to the guest list, sir.
Tom did ask why you weren't invited.
And what did Wendell say?
He said he hates your guts. Don't miss The Jeffersons tonight, right after the TV8 News, live at 10.
It really is Friday, and we're not crying wolf. Warner's here with all his videotape. Good morning, Warner.
All right, good morning, Faith. 3 boos of the week. First of all, the first boo of the week goes to the Professional Golfers Rules Committee. Let's go to the videotape. Last Saturday's third round, Andy Williams. Here we go, Craig Stadler kneeling on a towel to protect his pants, takes the shot. But according to the PGA Rule 13.3, the use of a towel is under the category of building a stance and a 2-penalty shot. Stadler, unaware of the rules, signed his incorrect scorecard, and that was it, disqualified. Hey, come on, give us a break, golf, and come out of the dark ages. Come on out. The second boo of the week goes to boxing referee Carlos Padilla. Let's go to the videotape. Last weekend's Evander Holyfield Henry Tillman fight. 7th round, Tillman goes down the first time in the round. Here he is, gets up, and boom, goes down again. Does Padilla stop the fight? No. Says to Tillman, you all right? Of course, every fighter says he's all right. Should have stopped the fight there. Now, was this trip necessary? No. One time too many. The third boo of the week goes to the pit crew of the Davey Allison crew in the Daytona 500. Let's go to the videotape. Last week's Daytona 500, 35th lap. Allison's crew makes the pit stop, and his crew puts on a new tire. But they don't screw on the lugs tight enough. Come on, look what happens. Here's Allison driving along, and his wheel comes off. Get that crew out of here. And they have to tow him off. Come on. I can go to a gas station and get better service than that. All right, let's go to the videotape, the plays of the week. First of all, the fast break of the week. The last night, the Celtics. Parrish to Bird to Ainge, back to Bird, who, by the way, wound up with 8 stitches. The longest NBA shot of the week, Magic Johnson, 46-footer. The best behind-the-back pass of the week. Look at Charles Barkley leading the fast break of the 76ers against the Knicks. And it's Barkley who puts it in. The best fake of the week, there it is, Magic Johnson, who whirls around Danny Ainge, who's still looking for him. The best open net goal of the week, Ray Ferraro of Hartford, and it's the hat trick. The best punch by a goalie, Kelly Rudy of the Islanders against Montreal's Mats Naslund. The best golf shot of the week, George Burns, first hole, final round, Andy Williams Open, 129-yard shot, and the ball rolls in. The best move by a harness driver whose horse broke his reins. There it is. Randall Jacobs leaps from his bike and onto his horse's back, preventing a possible pileup at Hawthorne. And Faith Daniels' evil twin sister, Unfaithful Daniels, was at the game. Until next Friday at 18 past the hour, this is Warner Wolf.
Unfaithful Daniels?
That's right.
Just went as a towel building a stand.
Well, ask the PGA. That was my point. Come on, bend a little.
I've got to find some of these obscure rules out. That's the only way I can win on a golf course.
Bring your own towel.
I have to ask you about that Larry Bird 8-stitch match in which he ran into Akeem Olajuwon and foul was later called. What do you think of that?
You mean, was it intentional? Is that what you're rephrasing?
I'm sort of getting
I don't know. I couldn't answer that. If I had to guess, I wouldn't want to put the finger on Olajuwon, but it might have been.
All right, spring training.
Yeah.
Let's just switch gears a little bit. Spring training starts this weekend.
That's right.
Who do you like?
It starts today for a lot of people.
Who do you like?
The Mets improved themselves. Here, they already had the best ball club last year, and they improved themselves with Kevin McReynolds. And they didn't lose a player. So, what they traded away, certainly McReynolds makes up. They have to be the favorites again.
All right, we've got it on tape, and we're going to remember this. Thank you very much, Warner. It is now 22 minutes after the hour.
Thousands of Walmart associates working together because low prices are important to you.
We seek out the manufacturers who can deliver the quality we demand. Then our large volume buying enables you to save on the things you want.
We control every step. We deliver to stores at least 5 times each week.
That means fresher merchandise and lower prices every day.
We stock what you want to buy, and because it moves fast, we can sell it at a lower price.
Here's what it all comes down to. You save on everything in the cart, not just 1 or 2 items.
You will save on everything you buy at Walmart.
We're a team. Everybody in this store does his part to keep costs down. And that means lower prices for you.
Walmart. We're thousands of individuals working together to keep prices lower on the things you want. Our philosophy is very simple.
What's important is you.
That's the Walmart way.
Think your cereal is nutritious? Put down your spoon and listen. Because a leading consumer magazine ranked 59 cold cereals on fiber, protein, sugar, sodium, and fat. And of those 59 cereals, they found 3 varieties in the Bisco shredded wheat topped the ratings, providing plenty of fiber and protein, no sugar, and very little sodium or fat. So before you pick up your spoon, pick up the leading cereal that topped the ratings, the Bisco shredded wheat.
Nabisco.
Power your business software into a new dimension with the Tandy 3000 computer. Important data is only milliseconds away from an advanced 286 microprocessor that delivers high-speed performance and PC compatibility. You can add up to 12 million bytes of memory and expand by sharing that power with others in your office. Discover the Tandy 3000 family of value-priced business computers at Radio Shack Computer Centers.
This is the TV8 Morning News. Here's Todd Magel.
Good morning. In Des Moines now, cloudy skies and 29 degrees. A new 20-year master plan for the Des Moines International Airport has been presented to the Des Moines Plan and Zone Commission. It's based on the growing number of airline mergers and industry deregulation. The plan calls for $9 million in renovation of the airport's longest runway and the creation of another 150 parking places. The master plan also includes a new building for air cargo service.
From an air cargo standpoint, prior to deregulation, much of the cargo was carried by the airlines in the bellies of the passenger aircraft. Today, they tend to concentrate more on carrying passengers and mail, and aren't as big into the air cargo business as they used to be.
The master plan requires city approval before the airport can apply for federal money. Flannery hopes to have city council approval by April. The State Board of Regents has authorized Iowa State University to spend up to $5.5 million to develop a research park on the Ames campus. The money for the 195-acre park would come from a variety of state and federal grants and donations. The park, also dubbed the ISU Silicon Valley, is designed to attract corporate research and development. Unclaimed winnings of more than $433,000 at Bluffs Run Greyhound Track have been turned over to the state. Under Iowa racing law, the unclaimed money goes to the state instead of the racetrack. Bluffs Run officials say many of the uncashed tickets resulted from inexperienced bettors. None of about the 18,000 unclaimed tickets was worth more than $600. Weather forecast is coming up next.
Man, if we're going to convince real picante sauce lovers like him that our sauce is as good as Pace, we've got to learn to act like them.
But, sir, Pace is the one made with fresh vegetables and spices by people in San Antonio who know what picante sauce should taste like.
That's why we've got to keep practicing. Again.
Get along, little doggies. Howdy, partner. Pick up the original. Pick up the Pace.
Looks like another day of above-average temperatures. Forecast calls for cloudiness this morning, though the sun will probably come out later this afternoon, warm things up to about the mid-40s. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 20 to 25. Saturday, partly cloudy, a high once again in the lower 40s. In Des Moines now, cloudy skies, winds from the east at 3 miles per hour. Humidity, 72%, barometer, 30.30 and falling. In Des Moines now, it's 29 degrees. More news and weather in about 15 minutes.
We are watching these stories as they develop this Friday. Democrats are assessing the impact of New York Governor Mario Cuomo's dramatic decision to bow out of the '88 presidential race. Extra police are on patrol in a black neighborhood in Tampa, and officials are appealing for calm after racial tensions triggered an outbreak of violence. And in the Soviet Union, the family of dissident Yosef Begun is waiting to see if the Soviets release him today, as they promised they would.
And this is David Hartman's last day as host of ABC's Good Morning America. Hartman has been with the broadcast since it started in 1975, and he'll continue as an occasional contributor. And anybody who's tried his hand at competing with David in the morning campaigns knows the quality of his work. We congratulate him on the past years and wish him well as he moves on. A last word, gold fever has hit the island of Jamaica. Hundreds of people with shovels, with machetes, with all kinds of tools swarmed over a construction site near the capital of Kingston. Workmen there claimed that they had found gold. Men, women, children dug, scraped, scrabbled, cut, clawed at the site where a church was under construction. From there, they moved on to land nearby. They went so far as to undermine an adjoining electric substation. Troops had to be moved in to restore order. Now, the problem is that an official says there's absolutely no evidence of gold there. One prospector says if there's no gold, then how come the government sent in soldiers? I'm sure there's logic in there somewhere.
We just have to find it.
Right.
That's the CBS Morning News. I'm Faith Daniels.
And I'm Forrest Sawyer. Enjoy the Friday and the weekend.
Next on the morning program, Washington columnist Jack Anderson with inside news about Iran scan, plus Carl Malden, hypnotist Tom DeLuca, and the founder of Superwoman Anonymous, Carol Orsbon.
This is CBS. this Erdy and Dolphin Company.
We will learn about some very famous islands from the past.
We'll also